All right, let's wrap up some understandings with menopause. Number one, I want you to understand that the two true symptoms of menopause are that you can no longer have a monthly cycle and you can't conceive anymore. That's it. All the other symptoms that you've been told are menopause, which include weight gain, hot flashes, sleeplessness, fatigue, brain fog, mood swings, the list goes on. Those are all tied into something much deeper. Now, understanding that about 2 million women every year enter menopause in the US. Now, out of those 2 million women, about 75 to 85% of them suffer some of those really ugly symptoms that we're talking about. Now, the other 15 to 25% are only dealing with no longer having a cycle and no longer being able to conceive. And I've been working with women specifically on menopause for really over 19 years now. And out of all the women that I've worked with, most are pretty happy at that time of their life to no longer have a monthly cycle, not being able to conceive. So those symptoms aren't really that bad and often cherished, yet the other symptoms could be really negatively affecting your life in so many ways. Just think of what it's like, from the weight gain perspective. What is it really like on a regular daily basis to feel that you're packing on an additional 15, 20 pounds. You can no longer use like half the clothes in your closet because you just don't fit into them anymore. And you're just sick of how you look at when you look at yourself in the mirror on what your body looks like now as compared to what it looked like maybe 5 or 10 years ago. Or maybe you're dealing with the hot flashes, and obviously I've never had to deal with a hot flash myself personally, but I've worked with literally thousands of women over the years. And I can remember one story about a woman who was she was a nurse, and she wanted nothing more than to just come home from after a 12-hour shift at the hospital and, wrap this warm blanket around her and sit in her favorite little nook in her living room and open up and just read a good book and just chill and relax. And the hot flashes hit her. And she was explaining to me, it just ruined her whole evening because she couldn't be comfortable the rest of the night. She couldn't relax. All these things that go on, or really the brain fog, the concept that you just can't think anymore. You can't grasp, you can't comprehend, you don't remember. These are all symptoms that you don't have to be dealing with, right? And when we're thinking about this, I want you to understand a little bit deeper what is going on. If you're dealing with any of the symptoms that, again, we typically refer to as a menopause, such as the weight gain, the sleeplessness, the hot flashes, the brain fog, the fatigue, and that list goes on. If you're dealing with any of that, there's a deeper issue in your hormonal system that really needs to be fixed. And it doesn't get fixed by taking bioidentical hormones. It doesn't get fixed by taking estrogens and progesterone. Now, to be candid, those can provide a little bit of symptom relief, but it's still not fixing the underlying problem. You see, because the underlying problem is tied into how your brain, your hypothalamus, your pituitary, and your adrenals all work synergistically together. So this is referred to as your brain and your HPA axis. And why this is so important is because this is what enables your body to maintain perfect hormone balance as you go from childbearing years into perimenopause and then finally into postmenopausal years. Your body is already designed to maintain a perfect hormonal balance. And think about this. Whether you believe in God or the universe or something else, that's up to you. That's your own personal choice to make. Yet, if we think of like God or the universe, do you think that God really created the female body to fall apart somewhere between 45 and 55 years old? And the answer is no. As a woman, your body was designed to transition perfectly through menopause into that space where you no longer have a monthly cycle and you can't conceive, and that's it. You see, because when we even think of like traditional cultures from years ago, when women would go through menopause, they were almost like worshipped in their tribe. They were looked at women of wisdom. They were actually put on another level in their tribe. But look at it nowadays. I can remember seeing a video that was done with Oprah Winfrey and a couple other prominent actresses or prominent women in our culture. And they were talking about how women are like shunned and they're put down for going through menopause. And that's just, to me, that's like the worst thing ever, because all this is really tied into is what's going on in a deeper level with your brain and your HPA axis and whatever's triggering that. And the great news is that can all be fixed. You can understand what's going on with your hormonal system, and on a deep level, not just by looking at blood work and looking at 2 or 3 hormones. I'm talking about looking at a 24-hour urine collection where you look at 32 different hormones. You see not just the hormones in the moment or just what's in the blood. You see the cycling of hormones through a 24-hour period. Plus, you recognize not only what's in the blood, but what could potentially be in your tissue, and also how other aspects are affecting this, whether it be tied into your kidneys, your liver function, inflammatory states, gut issues, and so much more. So you really want to understand this on a deeper level to really know what's going on hormonally. And then you also have to understand your triggers, because I want you to get that when you think about your hormonal system is just a response to what's going on. So when your hormones are off, it's really not a hormone problem. It's a problem for whatever's causing the hormone problem. So we have to think of different triggers tied into this. So the triggers could be poor fundamentals of health. It could be food sensitivities that you're unaware of. This could be tied into gut infections or infections throughout your body. This could be tied into chronic inflammatory states. It could be tied into toxicity. Like, these are all things that are driving the underlying factors of what's going on with your hormonal system. Now, I had mentioned earlier that taking bioidenticals like progesterone and estrogen could be a quick fix. Like, you could actually take estrogens and progesterone, and that could make some of your menopause symptoms go away. Yet it's still not fixing the underlying problem with your brain, your hypothalamus, your pituitary, and your adrenals. And this is why this is so important, because this is not just a menopause symptom issue. You see, when your HPA axis is out of balance, this is affecting so much more than just the symptoms you could be dealing with right now. This is affecting the function of your thyroid, the function of your pancreas, your mucosal lining, which is the first layer of defense of your immune system. This is affecting your body's ability to regulate body weight and fat, whether you need to lose or gain weight. This is affecting your body's metabolism of fat and protein. It's affecting every level of detoxification in your body. It's affecting pro and anti-inflammatory states. It's affecting your immune system regulation. It's affecting your blood sugar balance, which is essential for your brain to function properly. It's affecting your cellular energetics, and don't you want more energy? It's also affecting your musculoskeletal health, so your bone and connective tissue turnover, as well as your muscular integrity. And it's affecting your overall neural tissue health, which then impacts your quality of sleep and mood, your ability to memorize and learn, and your overall neural connectivity, which is now your brain and nervous system, which is the master regulator of everything in your body. So what you can understand by this is that when this underlying system, which is how your brain, your HPA axis synergistically work together, this is creating so many more issues than just your menopause symptoms. So while taking estrogen and progesterone could actually alleviate some of the menopause symptoms, but it doesn't fix the problem, what's causing issues elsewhere in the body. Yeah, so when I'm working with women, I'm always looking at it from the perspective of, well, number one, we have to comprehensively see what's going on with your hormonal system. And we've got to get you on a protocol to help you naturally balance that. On top of that, we also then have to understand your underlying triggers. And the cool thing with the hormone test that we use, that 24-hour urine collection, we're going to already see some of the potential triggers in there. Maybe a couple of your triggers are tied into your liver and how your liver metabolizes estrogens, or how your liver detoxifies in your body. Or maybe we'll see some triggers tied into your kidney function. We might see some triggers with chronic inflammatory states. We could see some triggers tied into your gut and likely gut infections. But we really got to get to the bottom what the triggers are. And remember, I mentioned earlier what those significant triggers are. Now, and here's the great news. All of this you can test and understand. And when you can actually test what's going on hormonally, test to figure out your underlying triggers for what's going on hormonally, and you can address all of these, you can help your body get back into its own God-given right to be in hormone balance regardless of your age. And why this is, some people ask, why is it so important for me to focus on menopause with women? I've even had some other practitioners say, well, why would you want to work with menopausal women all the time? Or I've had other people say, oh, well, how could you work with menopause? You're a man. Well, I tell you, I've been working with menopausal women for over 19 years. My last count, I've looked at 7,327 test kits, and I haven't counted it some time. It's probably up closer to about 7,800, maybe 7,797, something like that at this point. And it's unbelievable how often this is a significant issue, even to the point statistically. With all these test kits I've seen throughout the 19 plus years of working with women with menopause, only 6, not 6%, not 600, only 6 have come back in an optimal hormonal state. So what that tells me, now in fairness, the women who come into my office, they've got some symptoms they're dealing with. I don't ever have a woman walking in saying, hey, Glenn, I'm rocking my health and I went through menopause with ease. Let's test my hormonal system. That's not the case. But what this tells me is that if you're dealing with any symptoms whatsoever, the likelihood that you're dealing with hormonal imbalance is all but like 1/10 of 1%. So over almost 100% of you are dealing with some deeper hormonal issues tied into how the brain and the HPA axis are working synergistically or not working synergistically. And then also remember, that your hormonal system is just a response to what's going on in your body. So really what's going on is tied into the triggers, and you can uncover all of those. And here's another question that I like to always bring up, because when somebody says, why do you choose to work with menopausal women? I say, well, number one, I love working with women. From my own perspective and experience of working with women for so long, I find that women are, from a health perspective, tend to be very proactive and they want to be preventative. Women who are really good at multitasking are also great at following directions and protocols, which is helpful because a lot of times there's a lot for you to deal with to overcome this. And you know what I think is my favorite part of working with women with menopause is you're so darned appreciative. When you can actually see in front of you what you need to do and you follow the protocols to help find your hormonal balance naturally, you're so appreciative and you will tell everybody, because feeling that great is something you thought you lost for the rest of your life. And on top of this, I want to bring up another key point, and this is another reason why it's so important for me to work with women with menopause, is that, did you ever notice that so many more women have symptoms of menopause than you ever hear of men having symptoms of andropause, right? As I said, 2 million, I said this earlier, 2 million women enter menopause every year in the United States. And about 75 to 85% of them are dealing with symptoms that are very uncomfortable to debilitating and somewhere in between. Yet you don't hear that with men with andropause. Well, here's why. And I'm one of the men that is not afraid to say this. And the reason that I find that women have significantly more symptoms of menopause than men do with andropause is simply because men have it so much easier than you. It's true, right? Yeah, because I've been working with women for so long, what I see on a regular basis is most women have spent the last 30 years of their life prior to menopause taking care of their children, taking care of their husband or their significant other, taking care of their home, very often involved in their church or the community. Oh, and on top of that, you work a full-time job too. So if you think about it from this perspective, all of those are significant stressors on you. You've probably spent the last 30 years before menopause overworked, overwhelmed, and overstressed. So no wonder you enter menopause with an HPA axis that is no longer living in a level of vitality that you need to maintain a healthy hormonal system. Whereas men, we don't typically have to deal with as much. We go to work and we come home and do a few things around the house, right? So it's easier for us. And really, women and yourself specifically, you deserve better than that. You deserve to get your life back. You deserve to lose that weight. You deserve to maintain a comfortable temperature in your body. You deserve to be able to maintain a very happy and healthy mood for yourself. You deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve all the energy in the world to play with your grandkids or enjoy some time with your husband or just enjoy something on your own. Like, all these things are things that you deserve. And it's not just something you want. As I said, it is something truly that you deserve. So what I'm going to be doing, and what you'll see on this channel, there's a lot of shorts on my channel on this that go into a lot of little tiny bits and pieces of what's going on from a menopause perspective. But I'm going to be on here regularly talking about and breaking down all of this individually. Today was a video kind of putting it all together in one video here for you to understand what's going on. And I want to scream this from the mountaintop. I want every woman to understand that when you transition from childbearing years to perimenopause and through menopause and into postmenopausal years, remember, you should only stop having your cycle and you can't conceive, and that's it. I would love to see every woman in our culture and really worldwide, I would love to see every woman just transition through that with complete ease and really symptom-free, and living into the life that, again, not only you want, that you deserve. So look forward to more of these videos, and I look forward to sharing with you so I can help you make a difference in your life. Thank you.